This weekend, the Stonewall Columbus Pride March is back in person since 2019. So 10 TV went back into our archives and found old video of past marches. Take a look. These are videos from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and that bottom right was the 2019 march, which was the last one in person. Stonewall Columbus is expecting 700,000 people to attend events tomorrow.
Wow. Each year you see the crowds grow as more march to end discriminatory laws against the LGBTQ plus community. 10 TV's Kevin Landers shows us this comes as several bills in Ohio's legislature that some argue threaten LGBTQ rights.
I think the pushback that we're seeing right now is a result of how far we've come.
Northeast Ohio Democratic State Senator Nikki Antonio is the only openly gay lawmaker in Ohio.
To me, it's a moment that we have to keep pushing on to move forward.
She says each pride is an opportunity to remember what launched pride marches into existence.
It's important to understand your history, to know that people said, enough, no more. I'm through being demonized.
Stonewall riots happened on June 28, 1969 in New York City. Police raided the Stonewall Inn, a popular hangout in Greenwich Village for many in the queer community. That event was a significant catalyst for the gay rights movement in the United States.
The fight has always been about one central thing, and that's equality.
Denzel Porteous is the executive director of Stonewall Columbus. He says marching this weekend has a deeper meaning as several bills sit in the state legislature that he says threaten the LGBTQ community.
A bill like House Bill 616, which is really about racial identity, erasure of queer identities, erasure of ethnic identities, in particular BIPOC identities, I think really does harm, not only in relation to young people developing identity and sense of self and understanding who they are and their value and worth.
House Bill 616 would ban Ohio public school teachers from using any curriculum or instructional materials on sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through third grade. It's been called Ohio's version of Florida's Don't Say Gay law. He says bills like this also impact the future of Ohio's development.
I definitely think these bills are going to impact people coming here and people even thinking about starting a family.
But Porteous believes the trans community is also being targeted.
I think currently we're sitting through a time when a lot of our trans youth and our trans identities are being attacked. I think there's probably almost legislation in almost every state across the country right now that is looking at how trans identities exist, and I think it is truly anti-LGBTQ legislation.
In the final Ohio legislative session earlier this month, House Republicans slipped an amendment into an unrelated bill which prohibits transgender women and girls from participating in high school and college sports.
Anytime that a marginalized group doesn't just request but demands equality and pushes forward with those demands, there's going to be pushback.
State Senator Antonio has introduced the Ohio Fairness Act. It's a bipartisan bill that would make it illegal to discriminate towards someone for their sexual or gender identity. This is the 10th attempt it's been introduced. 6 of the 10 are from Antonio. But she says the fight inside the state capitol is long from over.
That's why we do have pride celebrations, marches, to really reflect, remind, and to give the opportunity to people for maybe the very first time to step out and be their authentic selves, in spite of some people saying, you're less than, because we're not.
Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.